Alright, we're going to be doing a sauerkraut tonight, actually making it and letting it ferment naturally. This is going to be part of a 2-part, maybe 3-part setup. Next week I'm going to do the next part of this. Right now, we're working on the sauerkraut. I've got purple cabbage, I've got about 200 grams of salt, and invisible water. Mainly because I just wanted you to see this right now. Come with me. Right now I have the brine already working on the stove. I'm going to need to let it get to really hot, roughly a nice simmer, roughly around 160 to 180 degrees. Then chill it down to go over the sauerkraut after I've cut it all. And that is our brine. The only things that are going into this that I'm actually putting into this at all are the sauerkraut and the saltwater brine. After that, it's going to be natural. It's going to be a natural fermentation. I'm looking for a lactobacillus fermentation. I got to keep the temperature below 70-ish degrees, which is going to go in the aging room in the brewery, and it'll sit there for about 2 weeks. This is basically just like a spontaneous fermentation. I'm letting nature actually do all the work for it. I'm not adding anything else to it. Cut. You ready? Okay. And what we're going to start with, we're going to take the cabbage right now. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to cut out the core. Nicely cored. Cut out the core. Then I'm going to cut it into thin strips for our sauerkraut. Yeah. That one didn't want a core as well. Or maybe not. There we go. Okay. Roughly about like this. Nice crowdy like stuff. And it's going to get aged in this bucket right here. Okay, we have our cabbage already prepped right here, and our brine is now cooled and ready to go in. So we're going to pour in. More than enough to cover. Now is where it gets a little tricky. You want the cabbage to be completely submerged. So we're going to weigh it down. First I'm going to cover it like so. And then my handy dandy prefab apparatus. Push it down like so. And there we go. Now these little bits I'm going to try and fish out. The main thing is what happens is if that cabbage actually goes above the surface of the brine, it will actually start to mold. We don't want that. All we want is the bacteria in there. So we're going to pull out all these little bits that are floating. If I had something to do with it. I'm going to grab a spoon. Get as much of this out as we can. And shoot. Yeah, that's probably about as good as we're going to get. Now the last step here is we're going to cover it. If our wrap stays good. There we go. And we're going to let this go for roughly about 2 weeks. And then at that point we should have a decent brined sauerkraut. If you want it to be a little bit more sour, you can let it go longer. Less sour, you can let it go a little bit less. It's going to be a taste thing. Just make sure it stays covered like it is, stays under the water line, and you should be good.